Hari Om.
We are live.
Hari Om. Namaste. Namaste to all. Prostrating at the lotus feet of Brahmanishta Shrotriya Sadguru Swami Virajeshwara Saraswati and the entire Guru Parampara on behalf of all of us, today's discourse on Viveka Chudamani will continue with the Mangalacharana Shlokas. Before the Mangalacharana Shloka, one small point. There is some problem in the network connection today from our side, from Indian side, from our side. That is what was noticed. So in between, there might be some gaps here and there. So please bear with us. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Shri Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smruti Purananamalaya Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kruto Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya Hari Om. Last time we had stopped at shloka number 216, verse number 216 last time. And from the shloka number 217, today's discourse will continue by the grace of Sadguru. Now, as last week it was told, Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpada, now he has started giving out the ultimate explanation on the absolute reality, Atma Tattva, Parabrahma Tattva, or in simple, about the God, Paramatma himself, Ishvara himself. That same Ishvara, or the God as we refer. Also in Vedanta known as Brahma Padartha, Parabrahma Vastu. Because ultimately, what cannot be explained, repeatedly I have said this, what cannot be explained has to be explained for the sake of Uttamadhikaris, Madhyamadhikaris, and even Mandadhikaris, Mumukshus, who are wanting to know about themselves, the reality of themselves. So for that purpose, Acharya is kind enough to explain step by step about the reality itself, about the Parabrahma Vastu itself. So in these shlokas, as was told last time, up to the shloka number 275, now we are still in 217 today to commence. So up to the shloka number 275, Acharya is going to explain in detail about the Atma Swarupa, Paramatma Swarupa, Nirguna Nirvishesha Nirakara Brahma Tattva. In Vedanta, these words are used. Nirguna Nirvishesha Nirakara Parabrahma Vastu, or Nirguna Brahma, another word for God. Please note down in the mind or in your notebook. Some of these words are repeated here and there throughout the discourse. Nirguna Brahma is a word also denotes that Parabrahma Vastu. It's called Nirguna because you cannot define the God or Ishwariya Tattva or that Parabrahma Tattva or Atma Tattva in words by using adjectives. ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಅಥವಾ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಅಥವಾ ಈಶ್ವರ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಶಬ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಇತಿಮಿತಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾಮ ರೂಪ ಆಕಾರಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ವಿಶೇಷಣಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲಕ್ಷಣ ಸ್ವರೂಪವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಅಂಗ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಆ ನಿಸ್ಸಂಗನಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ನಿರ್ವಿಕಾರನಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಆಕಾರ ರೂಪ ನಾಮ ರಹಿತ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು? ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಆತ ನಿರ್ಗುಣ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ, ನಿರಾಕಾರ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ, ನಿರಾಕಾರ ತತ್ವ. ಹಾಗಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಡಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್? Why these words are used in Vedanta? What is this Nirguna Brahma or Nirakara Brahma? Is God Nirakara means no name and no form, no shape, no characters, no attributes. Then the question comes in, then if the God, as we think, he doesn't have all these attributes or qualities, then how we are going to devote our mind, how we are going to do upasana, how we are going to worship, how we can show our devotion towards him? When we can't even understand the nature of God, how we can devote and show our affection, devotion, our bhakti? These are normal questions. In the phenomenal world, in this world of duality, is equally true, Acharya says. This phenomenal world, he calls it as Vyavaharika Satya. This materialistic world where you are different from me. I am sitting here, you are sitting opposite to me. You are different and I am different. It is true, no doubt. This Acharya calls Vyavaharika Satya. So there is a graded way of upasana, ladder, step-by-step way of upasana. So for majority, the Vedanta is very, very, very clear that for the sake of upasana, for the sake of worshipping the same Nirguna Brahma Nirakara God, Akara is given. The same Nirakara Tattva appears by itself in the form of having definite name and shape and form. So then you call that as Sakara Brahma, also called Saguna Rupa. So if there is something in front of you, it is easy to concentrate our mind, easy to offer ourselves, surrender ourselves at the feet of such a God who is at least visible in the form of a name and a shape. So then it is called Sakara Brahma. So the Sakara Brahma is nothing, something different. The same Nirakara Tattva, the same invisible Parabrahma Vastu also can manifest itself by its own intention, by itself, as a Sakara Parabrahma Vastu in the form of the Lord Ishvara. Lord Ishvara is again common word in Vedanta. Ishvara means not this Shiva. Please remember, Ishvara means God. In Vedanta, Ishvara can manifest in the form of Narayana. The same Ishvara can manifest in the form of Chaturmukha Brahma, who is a Srishtikarta, creator. The same Ishvara can manifest in the form of Shiva, Lord Shiva, Kailasapati. The same Ishvara can manifest in the form of Ganapati. So they're all Saguna Brahma Akara. They're all Saguna Brahma manifestations. The same Nirguna Tattva, Nirakara Brahma Tattva can also appear as a Sakara Ishvariya Shakti Rupa in the form of feminine dynamic energy as called Mula Prakriti. The same Mula Prakriti, the feminine aspect, the symbol, please don't get confused. There is no gender differentiation. God is only one. God can appear in any way. For the communication purpose, it is said she. God can be he or God can be she also. So the same Mula Prakriti appears in the form of a dynamic Shakti as Bhagavati or Jagatjanani or Jagannmata. So all these words should not lead you to any confusion. For most of us, we know it, but for the sake of others, these words have to be used now and then, now and then. So now here, Acharya is confining to that primordial, that original, Nirguna Brahma, Parabrahma Vastu, which has no attributes, no lakshanas, no characters. It is nameless, as far as we are concerned, formless, it is attributeless, genderless. So that is called Atma Swarupa or Parabrahma Swarupa or Paramatma Tattva or Atma Tattva. And all the time, all Mahatmans and also Acharya Shankara Bhagavad Pada in all his bhashyas on Upanishads, the 10 major Upanishads, and on his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, and mainly on his commentary on Brahma Sutras, repeatedly has mentioned, explained these points so lucidly and clearly, and repeatedly he has hammered the central core of Advaita Siddhanta as per the commentary or explanation given by Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya. The same Parabrahma Vastu, or what we call commonly God or Ishvara or Nirguna Brahma, the same Parabrahma Vastu is in the form of your own internal Atma Swarupa, Pratyagatma. Again, words and words. The same Ishvara, the same God, same Nirakara Tattva is also present inside the body in the form of Pratyagatma Swarupa or Atma Swarupa or Atma Tattva. So ultimately, in the final analysis, when you go deeper and deeper and deeper, go on discriminating, go on totally by using your acumen of the highest level of the subtlest, your buddhi, your intellect, viveka, the power of reasoning, power of discrimination. As you go deeper and deeper and deeper to analyze, you will understand what Acharya is hinting at. This invisible Atma, Tattva inside is the same as that Parabrahma Tattva outside. There is absolutely, at the highest level, at the deepest level, there is no difference. So the inner Atma Swarupa is called Pratyagatma inside our body. The same Pratyagatma or our own self, as it is called, capital S in English. So the self and Atma are one and the same, two different words meaning the same thing. There is no difference between the word self used in Vedanta and Atma Tattva in Vedanta. Both are one and the same. And for general observation, another word Jivatma is used. So Jiva or Jivatma means that subtle body inside, Sukshma Sharira, which totally covers the Atma Swarupa. So Jivatma in the subtlest sense, it means the Atma itself. So in the final analysis, Acharya says, when you go on discerning one by one, step by step, this Atma or Jivatma and Paramatma, they are one and the same. One and the same. So a word in Vedanta used in Advaita school of philosophy, as found in all Upanishads, is Brahma Atma Ekatva Bhava. I repeat, this word has to be remembered here all the time. Brahma Atma Ekatva Bhava. this word is always repeatedly used. Brahmatma ekatva bhava means once this is experienced, not simply understood by your intelligence. Only when Brahmatma ekatva bhava is experienced directly, then it is called aparoksha anubhuti. It is called direct perception, direct personal experience. Till that happens, Acharya says in his Sutra Bhashyas, extensive commentaries, extensive he has explained in Sutra Bhashya, Brahma Sutra Bhashya. In the commentary on that, he says, until the direct experience, aparoksha anubhuti, occurs by the grace of Guru, by the grace of God, till that point, the world is always real. The duality is always real. This world, what you are seeing, is always real. No doubt about that. The reality of this world goes away the moment Brahma Atma Ekatva Bhava directly is experienced inside. That is called realization. That is called salvation. That is called Atma Sakshatkara. That is called Brahma Sakshatkara. Whatever words. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಜೀವ ಅಥವಾ ಜೀವಾತ್ಮನಿಗೂ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನಿಗೂ ಯಾವುದೇ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎರಡೂ ಒಂದೇ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬರೋದಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನ ಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ ಸದ್ಗುರು ಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ. ಆಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ವಿಷಯ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ, ಆ ಕೊನೆ ಘಟ್ಟದವರೆಗೆ ಈ ಜಗತ್ತು ಸತ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಸೂತ್ರ ಭಾಷ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಇದನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಭಗವತ್ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಆಗೋ ತನಕ ಜಗತ್ತು ಸತ್ಯವೆಂದೇ ಪ್ರತೀತಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಅನುಮಾನ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಂತರ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಜಗತ್ತು ಮಿಥ್ಯಾ. ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ರಿಯಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ದಿ ಪರ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್, ದ ವಿಷನ್ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಚೇಂಜಸ್. What is that changed vision? What is that transformation? Then you will know that only that Parabrahma Vastu is the real reality. This outer manifested world or creation is only unreal because it is projected. It is just projected by the Maya of the Creator himself. The whole thing is a big delusion. Acharya gives a comparison here in again Brahma Sutra Bhashya explanation, that as long as you are seeing, you are watching, you are experiencing dream in the sleep, everything is real. Everybody's experience. See, the dream example is repeatedly given in Vedanta by all Mahatmas. Our Gurudev was very fond of this. Our Gurudev used to always say that his Guru, Swami Vidyananda Saraswati in Rishikesh, that is our Parama Guru, every day he used to take up this example of dream sequence and getting up from the dream sequence. He was hammering the same. Our Gurudev used to remember that. So while dreaming, it is always real, absolutely real. No doubt, every one of you, every one of us, we know that. Only after we wake up, we say, we had a wonderful dream. We had a horrible dream. We had a nightmare dream. We thought that actually is happening. Oh, fortunately, now I know it's only a dream. So after waking up, we say, it was only a dream. ಕನಸು ಕಾಣಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸತ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಸತ್ಯವೇ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಘಟನೆಗಳು ಕಣ್ಣೆದುರಿಗೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಅದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಇರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಕನಸು ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಅದು ಸತ್ಯ ಸತ್ಯ ಸತ್ಯ, 100% ಸತ್ಯ. ಅದು ಕೇವಲ ಕನಸು, ಒಂದು ಇಂದ್ರಜಾಲ, ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದು ಯಾವಾಗ? ಎಚ್ಚರ ಆದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಕನಸಿನಿಂದ. ಅಯ್ಯೋ, ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕನಸು, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಏನೇನೋ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ನಲ್ಲ ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಬ್ಬ ಹಾಸಿಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಲಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸದ್ಯ ಇದು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಳ್ಳು. ಸುಳ್ಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಸತ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲ. So when you wake up from a dream, suddenly you know that you are on the bed only. Within a flash of a moment, you will know that you are dreaming all the while. You are dreaming all the while. So many things. So many things. And nothing is true. That is exactly the process of realization. Our Gurudev used to hammer the same point all the time. See, you're all dreaming. What Sakshatkara means? Waking up from the dream of Maya called creation. Waking up from this dream called samsara is a realization. Our Gurudev used to always hammer this point, hammer this point. When do you wake up from the dream? That your own self, your own Atma, your own Pratyagatma, or the God or the Sadguru, when he blesses, you will get up from the dream of this samsara. Otherwise, for the whole life, this dream continues. He used to laughingly say like that. Too much I have digressed by, I don't know why. We'll come to the Atma Swarupa explanation by Acharya. So last time he was talking about the same thing. Atah param swayam sakshat pratyagatma nacha itaraha. We had stopped there. Atma is a self-witness by itself. Now, Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sputataram yosau samujrambate pratyagrupataya sada aham ityanta spurannekadha नानाकार विकार भागिना इमान पश्यन् अहम धीमुखान् नित्यानंद चिदात्मना स्फुरति तं विद्धि स्वमेतं हृदि. This is a long one, sloka with 4 charanas or 4 lines. So we will take up the first 2 lines. Acharya says, Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sputataram yosau samujrumbate. Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sputataram yosau samujrumbate pratyagrupataya sada aham iti antah spurannekadha. Pratyagrupataya sada aham iti atyanta aham iti antah spurannekada. Aham iti antah spuran ekadha. Further, if you add this charana correctly, ekada sada aham iti antah spuran. So, what is this vastu? Atma vastu. Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sputataram yosau samujrumbate. Now, this Atma Tattva, this Pratyagatma, this your own self, in the waking state and in the dream state and in the deep sleep state, it is always there, aware of the 3 states you pass through every day. So, the same self, the same Atma Tattva or Pratyagatma which is residing in your heart, asau samrujhambate. It is there inside the cave of the heart, and it is aware of the 3 states. Your waking state, it is aware. Your dream state, it is aware. And also your deep sleep state, it is aware. And then inside, Pratyagrupataya, inside your own heart, inside your body, Pratyagrupataya, in the form of the self, in the form of Pratyagatma, in the form of your own self Atma Swarupa, Sada aham iti spuran. Very important line. This Pratyagatma inside your heart, in your subtle body, inside your body, always, always, all the time, it is the substratum, it is the base, it has become the basis, the root cause from which the sense of aham, I feeling is coming out all the time. So inside the same Atma, same Pratyagatma is actually pulsating. Spuran means pulsating. Aham, 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 it is Spuran. It is pulsating as aham, 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 me, my, I. Always. Now here the problem comes. What is this aham? Acharya is talking. What is the other one? Aham. Normally we talk. Aham means ahankar. Aham means ego. Aham means me, concept. Aham means myself. Aham means I am so and so. Correct? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸದಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಳಗಡೆ, ಹೃದಯದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ನಾನು 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 ಅಂತ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸ್ಫುಟವಾಗಿ ಸ್ಪಂದನೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಅರಿತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ನಾನು ಅಂತ ಆತ್ಮ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ನಾನುಗೂ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋ ನಾನುಗೂ ಏನು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ? ಎರಡು ಒಂದೇನಾ? ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್, where most of the people will get confused. See, the normal ego, as we call ahankara, me concept, normal, myself, refers to your mental status, mental vritti. It is your own antakarana, one part. Your own inner component, Sukshma Sharira, it has mind, buddhi, chitta and ahankara. 4 components, antakarana. Please remember, earlier it was explained. So what is that aham? What is that aham? Every one of us, we have that. Aham means I am so and so. I am a man, I am a woman. I am very sad, I am very happy, I am a young child, I am a grown-up person, I am an old man, I am having wonderful health, I am not having wonderful health, I am a lady. See, all these concepts belong to aham, ego, ahankara. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಈ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಭಾವ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥವನು, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥವಳು, ಅದು ಅಹಂಕಾರ, ಮನೋವೃತ್ತಿ. ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಅಂತಃಕರಣದ 4 ವೃತ್ತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಿದ್ದು ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಭಾವನೆ, ಹುಟ್ಟದಾಗಿಂದ ಸಾಯೋ ತನಕ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ನಾನು ಇಂಥವನು, ಇಂಥವಳು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದು ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅಹಂ? Ahankara means from birth till the last breath, death, this remains with us. This me, myself concept all the time remains 24/7 in our mind, in our psyche. That is our personality. It becomes our individuality. I am so and so. Are you catching that? So this aham is different. In Vedanta, it is mithya. This has no existence. It is a part of antakarana. This aham is mithya. It is unreal. But this aham, this mithya, has superimposed itself on the real aham, on the real Atma Swarupa. It has covered the real Atma Swarupa and thinks that I am the body-mind complex. Are you catching this? Very difficult sometimes to explain. So this, let us say, this outer aham, this outer me concept, myself concept, has completely superimposed on the real aham, the original aham, Atma Swarupa. That original aham is the Atma Swarupa. This aham is different, that aham is different. So that is the real I, and this is false, pseudo I. So the confusion is we are combining both and thinking that aham means body, mind. I am so and so. It is not the reality. The reality is different. This outer concept of I means body, mind complex is a total unreal concept, as Acharya says. This is mithya. Because of this, we are in bondage. This is due to ajnana. Why we believe like this? Due to ajnana. I means I always equate myself with the body, mind. I am so and so. Correct? Is there anybody who can say, see, I am this, and my name is so and so. I am born to so and so parents. I am a man. I am a woman. I work like this. My status this. Can anybody deny that? In a Vyavaharika Satya, in the Jagat, it is a fact. Nobody can deny. I am 50-year-old, I am 30-year-old, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a working person, I am a householder, I am a housewife. All this, can anybody deny that? Nobody can deny that. So what is that? That refers to outer aham. This pseudo-reality, this is mithya. This is unreal. Why? Because this aham, mixing with the body and mind, thinks that I means I am the body and mind, that is subjected to suffering in the samsara. I confine to my own body and mind, I am so and so. Then along with myself, mine concept comes in. ಈ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ದೇಹ ಶರೀರ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನವರು ಅಂತನೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ಸಂಸಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದೇ ನಾನು ನಿಜವಾದ ನಾನು ಅಂತ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೆ ದುಃಖ ತಪ್ಪಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ. ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾದ ಆನಂದದ ಗಳಿಗೆಗಳು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ದು ಸದಾಕಾಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ದುಃಖದ ಗಳಿಗೆಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ 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 ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಸದಾ ತೊಂದರೆ ಸಂಕಟಗಳನ್ನ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಾನೇ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಾಯೋವರೆಗೂ ಸಂಕಟ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮರಣ ಹೊಂದಿದ ನಂತರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪುನರ್ಜನ್ಮ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ದೇಹ, ಅದು ನಾನು, ಆ ದೇಹ ನಾನು, ಇವ್ರು ನನ್ನವರು ಅನ್ನೋ ಶುರು ಆಗತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನನ್ನವರು ಅಹಂಕಾರದಿಂದ ಮಮಕಾರ. See, this ahankar, outer ego, leads to mamakara, mine concept. Me and mine, they go together the whole life. So what happens? After the death, the same thing will continue in some other body form. You take birth in some other family, as some other human being, let us say. You will have some other different set of parents. You will have some other different sets of, say, brothers or sisters, wife or husband. And again, your attachment will continue without remembering what you were in the previous birth. So, the effect of this mithya aham is we are bound to samsara. Always we are bound to shoka and moha. As repeatedly Acharya says, samsara means shoka plus moha. Shoka means grief, suffering. All the time mentally there is crisis upon crisis. So the mind always suffers and suffers and suffers because of the pain. Shoka. Grieving. All the time the mind weeps till the death for some reason or the other. Shoka plus moha. Moha means attachment. See, I am only attached to my people, you see. How many times Acharya has repeated? In Bhagavad Gita, introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Bhashya, the same thing he says. Samsara means shoka plus moha. If you cross over, get over these two aspects, then it is easy to come out of this maya and you remain wonderfully as a human being. You can be more productive as a human being till your death, where you will know your reality. You become a pure witness in the life and you can see the play of consciousness. You can see the Leela of Bhagavan, God, how it is playing out, how you are playing out your part. This is what Acharya says in so many ways, in so many contexts. If you look into the teachings of Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, always he speaks on this. He goes directly, he hits the bullseye, the inquiry path, as Maharshi calls it simply. You start inquiring, he says, who am I? Who am I? What is this I? Go on inquiring, contemplate sincerely, who am I? And jokingly, number of times at some places, Maharshi has said, it is not a mantra japa. You sit down and close your eyes and start saying, who am I? 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 For 1 hour and get up and go for coffee. It's not like that. Very humorously, as Maharshi has mentioned these points, you go through his teaching, you'll understand. He has spoken the exact truth of the Upanishads. When you start inquiring, who am I? You go to the root. He says, what is that root? That root is that real I. That real Pratyagatma. Formless, nameless, limitless. Nirakara, Nirvishesha, Niranjana, Nishkala, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Atma Swarupa. You go to that only. And you become that only. And this false I will gradually disappear. So, in so many ways, the teachings are there. Great people, great Mahatmans have said. So, Acharya, in the second line, same thing is mentioning what is there in Upanishads. Last time it was told, Ayamatma Brahma, the famous one of the 4 pillars Mahavakyas of Vedanta. This Atma is Brahma itself. Ayam Atma Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma. Sa Atma Tattvamasi Shvetaketo. In Chandogya 9 times, this sentence comes in. You are that only. Remember Shvetaketu. Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi. You are that only. You are that only. All that refer to what? Pratyagatma. No difference between this Atma inside and Atma outside. There is Ishvara outside. So Ishvara and Atma both are same. So the problem is once it is said like that, you think that you always imagine the outer eye. I am the body. See, outer eye. That me, myself. You think that myself is Ishvara. No. Your outer eye, this me concept, nothing to do with Ishvara Tattva. This me concept is confined to your body, your status, your mind. This is also mithya. When the body dies, this me concept also will die. After death, you don't remember that I am so and so. Let me give the example of the person sitting in front of you. Once the death devours the body, can you think the Nagaraj Padiki will remember that he is dead? Can you think he will remember all his relatives after death? Simple. So this is mithya. That's what Acharya is hinting at. Again, too much digression. So he is explaining the Atma Tattva, Atma Vichara. The next 2 lines of the same sloka. Nanakara vikara bhagina iman pashyan aham dhimukhan nityananda chidatmana spuratitam vidhi swametam hrudi. Nanakara vikara bhagina iman pashyan aham dhimukhan nityananda chidatmana spurati tam vidhi swametam hrudi. The last line he concludes again with the same assertion which was earlier told. Swam etam hrudi tam vidhi. Etam hrudi swam vidhi. Look, In your own heart, you have to remember that what is pulsating as aham, aham, aham inside from the source, that itself is your own Atma Swarupa. That is what he is hinting at. Nanakara vikara bhagina iman pashyan aham dhi mukhan nityananda chidatmana spurati tam vidhi swametam hrudi. So Acharya says, so this awareness, which is always pulsating as I inside, so this awareness, it understands, it is aware of your antakarana, it is aware of your manas, it is aware of your buddhi, it is aware of your chitta, and it is also aware of your chitta vritti or mental vrittis, all mental modifications. It is aware of your own sankalpa and vikalpas. It is aware of how your mind works. It is aware of Jagrata Avastha. Nanakara vikara bhagina iman pashyan aham dhimukan. It is aware of your ego, aham. It is aware of dhi, means your own buddhi, buddhi shakti. ಈ ವಸ್ತುವಿಗೆ, ಹೃದಯದಲ್ಲಿರೋ ವಸ್ತುವಿಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಆಗಲಿ, ಮನಸ್ಸಾಗಲಿ, ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಭಾವನೆಗಳಾಗಲಿ, ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ರೀತಿಗಳಾಗಲಿ, ಮನೋವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ಆಗಲಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಗಳಾಗಲಿ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಗೃತಾವಸ್ಥೆ, ಸ್ವಪ್ನಾವಸ್ಥೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಿದ್ರಾವಸ್ಥೆಗಳಾಗಲಿ, ಅದರ ವಿವಿಧ ರೀತಿಯ ಭಂಗಿಗಳಾಗಲಿ, ನಾನಾ ವಿಕಾರ, ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ, ವಿಕಲ್ಪಗಳು ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂಡೋದು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಅರಿತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಇದು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ವಸ್ತು, ಹೃದಯದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದ ಚಿದಾತ್ಮನ ಸ್ಫುರತಿ. ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದ ಚಿದಾತ್ಮನ ಸ್ಫುರತಿ, ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಆನಂದ ಸ್ವರೂಪನಾಗಿ, ನಿತ್ಯವೂ ಆನಂದ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಸ್ಥಿತಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಸ್ಫುರತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಕಾಶಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಚಿತ್ ಆತ್ಮನ ಸ್ವರೂಪನಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಕಾಶಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಪ್ರಕಾಶಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಸ್ಫುರತಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ. ಸೊ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಆತ್ಮತತ್ವ is radiating. Spurati means radiating effortlessly, self-luminant, self-radiating, with all the thunderous light you can call, radiating, luminous, Spurati. Swayam, self-radiating, Chidatmana, Chit Atmana, this is your own inner Pratyagatma. Nityananda Rupa. So it is always, eternally, it is Ananda itself. It is the supreme bliss itself, supreme Ananda itself. Please remember, the Atma Tattva or Brahma Tattva is in Vedanta called as Chidananda Rupa. It is Chit Swarupa, Sat Swarupa, Ananda Swarupa. Ananda is not a character here. The Atma itself is Ananda. Ananda is not the character of the Atma. Ananda is not the character of Brahma Tattva. Ananda is not the character of Ishvara. Ishvara himself is Ananda Swarupa. Paramatma himself is Ananda Swarupa, eternally Ananda Swarupa, supreme bliss. Paramatma himself is Sat Swarupa. He is always existing, eternally present without change. Sat. That's why it's called truth. Sat means truth. What is the truth here? In Vedanta, truth means never changing, eternally present without the time-space continuum. ಕಾಲಾತೀತನಾಗಿ, ದೇಶಾತೀತನಾಗಿ, ಅವಸ್ಥಾತೀತನಾಗಿ, ಸರ್ವಕಾಲದಲ್ಲೂ ಸರ್ವಾವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಹೊಂದದೇ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಸ್ತು ನಿತ್ಯ, ಅದು ಸತ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು. ಸತ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪರಿಭಾಷೆ. ಸೊ ಗಾಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಸತ್ ಸ್ವರೂಪ and God is Chit Swarupa also. What is Chit? Ultimately, knowledge, Jnana. Jnana is not the character of Bhagavanta, please remember. Knowledge is not the character of Atma, please remember. Bhagavanta, Ishvara or Atma is knowledge itself, Jnana itself. That is why it is called Chit Swarupa. Chit means Jnana, Ananda Swarupa. That is why he is called Chidananda Rupa, Chit Rupa, Ananda Rupa. Sometimes Vedanta also uses the word Satchidananda Rupa for Atma. See, the Vedanta can use either Chidananda Rupaha for Atma or God, or it can also use the word Sachidananda Rupaha. Sachidananda means Sat plus Chit plus Ananda. Chidananda Rupa means only Chit plus Ananda. Anyway, the words are used in Vedanta to denote what cannot be explained. So this Atma Tattva, which is pulsating as a real I, aham inside, which cannot be destroyed, which cannot be understood. It is observing, it is a witness to itself, and it is witnessing your own mental vrittis, your own antakarnas. It is witnessing how your buddhi is functioning. It is radiating your buddhi. It is radiating your mind. Because of the presence of this Atma Tattva, your mind is functioning. Buddhi is functioning. Intellect. Your organs are functioning. Your prana shakti functioning. Your gross body is functioning. Your organs are functioning. Why? Because of the presence of this Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa inside. If this Atma Tattva is not there, your body is nothing but like any other inanimate thing, a dead body. Is it not? Very simple logic here. So what Acharya says here, so you must swam etam tam vidhi hrudi. So that is your own Atma. Please remember what I have explained. That is your real Swarupa. Please remember. That is what Acharya is hinting. Now he gives an example to explain this. Simple example. How to explain this? Ghatodake bimbitamarkabimbam alokya mudho ravimeva manyate. Tatha chidabhasam upadhisamstham brantya ahamityeva jadobhimanyate. A very simple example. Ghatodake bimbita arkabimbam alokya mudho ravimeva manyate. Tatha chidabhasam upadhisamstham ಭ್ರಾಂತ್ಯಾ ಅಹಮಿತ್ಯೇವ ಜಡೋಭಿಮನ್ಯತೆ. ಬಹಳ ಒಂದು ಸುಂದರವಾದ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಗಡಿಗೆನಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪಾತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ತುಂಬಿದ್ರೆ, ಆ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬ ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಒಬ್ಬ ಮೂಢ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ, ಓ ಈ ಪಾತ್ರೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಸೂರ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಒಬ್ಬ ಮೂಢ, ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋನು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಜಡ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿ, ಅವಿವೇಕಿ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಏನ್ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಈ ಯಾವ ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಸಾನ್ನಿಧ್ಯದಿಂದ ಈ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಪ್ರಕಾಶವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಪ್ರಕಾಶವಾಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ವಿಕಲ್ಪ ಮಾಡೋ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಬುದ್ಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಆತ್ಮತತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಚಿದಾಭಾಸ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಬುದ್ಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಆತ್ಮತತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಚಿದಾಭಾಸ, ಚಿತ್ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬ, ಚಿತ್ ಅಭಾಸ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ನಿಜವಲ್ಲ, ಮಿಥ್ಯ. ಚಿತ್ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಅದೇ ಅರ್ಥ, ಚಿದಾಭಾಸ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಅದೇ ಅರ್ಥ. ಹಾಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅವಿವೇಕಿ ಈ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನೇ ಅದೇ ನಿಜವಾದ ಆತ್ಮ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನೇ ಅದು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಈ ದೇಹ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಈ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಬುದ್ಧಿಯಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ದೇಹವನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ಸೇಸ್, ಘಟೋದಕೆ ಬಿಂಬಿತಂ ಅರ್ಕಬಿಂಬಂ ಆಲೋಕ್ಯ ಮೂಢೋ ರವಿಮೇವ ಮನ್ಯತೆ. ರವಿಮೇವ ಮನ್ಯತೆ. ಮೂಢಃ, ಸಿ a ordinary person, very very unintelligent person, when a mudha, a fool in Vedantic sense, when he looks at the reflected sun in the water in a pot, big pot, he thinks that the sun is in the water. looking at the pot filled with water, when the sunlight, when the sun image is falling there, he thinks the sun is there only. Just like that, Jada means an aviveki or ajnani thinks तथा चिदाभासम उपाधि संस्थम भ्रांत्या अहम इत्येव जड़ अभिमन्यते. चिदाभासम उपाधि संस्थम भ्रांत्या अहम इति एव जड़ अभिमन्यते. So a jada means a ajnani thinks the reflected radiance of Atma Tattva into the mind and buddhi called Chidabhas. Chit Abhas. Chit plus Abhas is called Chidabhas. So what is Chidabhas? What is Chidabhasa? The reflection of the Atma Tattva in our own mind and buddhi. Mainly buddhi. Because the buddhi, as last time it was told, nearer to Atma Tattva. See, the Vijnanamaya Kosha is nearer to Atma Tattva than Manomaya Kosha. Compared to mind, buddhi is still better. It is very nearer. So it directly reflects that Atma Tattva. Last time you remember the example I had given. The moon is shining on the full moon day in the clear night sky. We say how nicely the moon is shining. Where is that shine? Where is that moonlight coming? Not from the moon directly. It is a reflected light from the sun falling on the moon. So moon looks shining. Moon looks, it is radiating its own light. In reality, we know moon is a satellite. It is not producing any light rays. It is only reflecting the sunlight. Like that, our buddhi reflects the light of the Atma Tattva, a radiance of the Atma Tattva. So the buddhi is called Chidabhasa. So that tat Chidabhasam upadhi samstham brantya ahamityeva jada abhimanyate. So the ajnani thinks the reflection as real. Whatever his buddhi, intellect says, it is real. So he confuses it for the Atma Tattva. And that he thinks as aham only. That is a real Atma he thinks. It's a false identification. It's a false remembrance. It's a false connection. Chidabhasa means only reflection, it is not real. So that's the point here Acharya is giving example. And then he continues with the same. Now to make it very clear, same example he continues. Gatam jalam tad gatamarka bimbam vihaya sarvam vinirikshaterkaha tadastha etat tritaya vabhasakaha swayam prakasho vidusha yatha tatha. Ghatam jalam tad gatamarka bimbam vihaya sarvam vinirikshaterkaha. Vinirikshate plus arkaha. Vinirikshaterkaha tatastha etat tritaya vabhasakaha swayam prakasho vidusha yatha tatha. Yatha vidusha, that is how it starts, Acharya. So a learned one, vidusha, a wise one, a very learned person with viveka, a person who can discern, who can analyze very precisely, very deeply, who by the habit of constant reflection, manana reflection, who can understand correctly, what he will do. When he looks at the big jar filled with water, where the sun is reflecting in the water, in the hot midsummer day, immediately what he thinks, he gives up the jar. He is not bothered about the jar. He gives up the water in the jar. He is not bothered about the water. He gives up that reflected sun also, sun ray from the water. He gives up that also. So by giving up all the three, Ghatam, Jalam, Tad Gata Arka Bimbam, Sarvam Vihaya. He giving up all the three. ಒಬ್ಬ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತ ವಿವೇಕಿಯಾದವನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪಾತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ತುಂಬಿದೆ, ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಬೆಳಕು ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪಾತ್ರೆಯನ್ನು ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಆ ನೀರನ್ನು ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಆ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬವಾಗಿರೋ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬ ಅದನ್ನೂ ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಈ ಮೂರನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವಿವೇಕಿಯಾದವನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದು ನಿಜ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತವನಿಗೆ. ಅವನು ಮೇಲ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಜವಾದ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಆಕಾಶದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ನಿಜವಾದ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಆಕಾಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಕಾಶಮಾನವಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಆತನ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬ ಈ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪಾತ್ರೆಯ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ, ಇದು ನಿಜವಾದ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಬಿಂಬ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬಿತ ಬಿಂಬ ಅಂತ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಸೊ ದ ವೈಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ನೋಸ್ ದಟ್ ದ ರಿಯಲ್ ಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸ್ಕೈ, ದ ರಿಯಲ್ ಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಜಾರ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್, in the jar filled with water. Immediately he knows the reality of the sun. Sun is only in the sky blazing, and that sunlight is falling on the water as a reflection. So he knows the truth. The reflected sun in the water is only Chidabhasa. It's not real. It is Mithya. What is real? What is Satya? The sun is blazing top in the sky. So he knows correctly the interpretation. So that is what he says. Tatastha etat triyavabhasakah swayam prakasho vidusha yatha. Sun is self-illuminating, self-radiating, self-shining. It is sending the sunlight onto the earth's surface. The light is coming from sun itself. Swayam prakashaha tatastaha etat tritaya avabhasakaha. This sun is different from all the three. Etat tritaya avabhasakaha. This real sun is no way connected to the jar, number one, no way connected to the water, number two, no way connected to its reflection in the water, number three. Tatastaha etat tritaya avabhasakaha. Swayam prakashaha vidusha vinirikshate yatha. So a learned man, a viveki, will discern these things correctly, correct perception. Swayam prakashaha vidusha yatha tatha. He continues as the last word in the shloka, 219th shloka. Tatha. Tatha means in the same way. In the same way. Now there are three sets of shlokas commencing from 220, shloka number 221, shloka number 222. All the three should go together to derive the correct, precise meaning. Since all the three shlokas are very long ones, each one with 4 charanas, I think that has to be taken up separately, one by one. We have to split. By Guru's grace, I don't know how far it can be done. One thing is very clear. The point our Gurudev also was talking, as Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has repeatedly said, it is all mentioned in all the books covering the teachings of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Even the teachings of Nisargadatta Maharaj from Mumbai, if you go deeper into the question and answers given by Nisargadatta Maharaj, which the name our Gurudev has mentioned in his Scientist Search for Truth in the epilogue, where our Gurudev had met Nisargadatta Maharaj in Mumbai, a great Advaitin. These questions, the answers, they hammer the same final Advaitic point. The Advaitic point here is, really what you think you are outside, that is not the real you at all. This is only the body with whom you are mistakenly identifying that you think you are this I am so and so. No. The reality is something different. You have to go to the root, go to the deep reality and understand, try to know what is really I means. So when you start contemplating, that is how by the methods given by your guru, as go on contemplating manana and manana, Shravana and Manana, listening, the Upadesha and following and doing. So many ways. The japa is there, meditation is there, whatever method is there suitable. Only sincere effort and endeavor will lead us. And ultimately, by the grace of God only, it is understood. As repeatedly Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpada says in the Sutra Bhashya commentary, till the last moment, everything is real. Your identity as a body is also real. Your me concept is also real. Your mine concept is also real. Everything is real till final realization occurs in a flash. That happens by the God's grace. So till that is what Acharya repeatedly says, by dhatu prasadat, by the grace of God, by the grace of Sadguru, it can happen. And my Gurudev used to always say this, it may happen today itself. It may happen tomorrow itself. It may happen after 1 month. It may happen after 1 year. It may even happen at the end of your last stages before death. Or even it may happen in the next birth. Don't be time conscious. It is timeless. It is only by the Guru's grace it will happen. And then what are the benefits of being realized person that comes in the end? So we will take up that. A lot of people ask, no, what is the benefit of being realized? What is there if I know what is my reality? I know I am Atma Swarupa. Okay, then what? It is not like that. In the end of Vivek Chudamani, all these things will come up. We'll take up there in detail once again. God knows. By the Sankalpa, Gurudev Sankalpa, we are stopping today at the sloka number 219 with a short Ram Bhajan. Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya.
Thank you, sir. It was simply beautiful. Now it's like that serial where we look forward to the next week already at the end of it. Thank you, sir. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you.